And we're back with Focus Delaware. My next guest is a celebrity to many of you. He is Bill Doerflinger, manager of the Playhouse Theater. You know, the Playhouse Theater is located in the DuPont building in Wilmington. It's brought entertainment to Wilmington since 1913. It's 1,250 seats, has seen such stars as Lillian Gish, Pearl Bailey, Gloria Swanson, Carol Channing, Ingrid Bergman, Katharine Hepburn, Tyrone Power, and many, many others, Walter Matthau. I can't even mention all of them. Throughout the years, many shows have opened to a discriminating Wilmington audience. For the past 30 years, Bill Doerflinger has been the manager of the Playhouse Theater. He's worked closely with producers and brought a varied and exciting selection of plays to Wilmington. Let's meet him now, Bill Doerflinger. Hello, Bill.
Hi, how are you?
Welcome to Focus Delaware.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Bill, you are the man behind the scenes. You're the man that makes it all work. What goes into securing a show?
Well, it's a lot of hard work. You have to keep on top of what's going on, what's being produced, what's available, and then you have to go after them. Means a lot of trips to New York, keeping in touch with producers, and when you finally find something that you think is worthy to bring here, then you really have to go after it and try to convince the producer to come to Wilmington, not to go to some other city. As long as it's going to be in the East, then you have a good chance. Of course, if it's going to go to the West Coast and stay there for a year or so, then you have to tab it for something that you'll get later.
Has Wilmington built up more notoriety over your tenure? Have we been able to bring in bigger shows and bigger stars? Have we developed more contacts?
Well, that's what the public wants here. They want the big shows, and especially the big musicals. But it's getting more and more difficult to do that because the Playhouse only has 1,250 seats, and these big musicals are getting to be so expensive that they prefer to go to large auditoriums, to cities where they have big capacities and where they can stay for 4, 6, or 8 weeks. So it is getting more and more difficult to bring them here.
We have such an excellent facility. The acoustics, the artistic design, the decor, the aesthetics of the place are just beautiful. Who designed that building? Could you give us some details about that beautiful edifice, the Playhouse?
Well, it was built in 1913, and the DuPont Company had it built. They felt there was a need for a theater in this community, and they built it then. At the same time, they built the hotel.
I see. Do you have to consider the public's needs as far as what they want to see, and you've got to balance that against the costs, I suppose?
That's right. You have to consider what is going to be accepted by the majority of the people here. If you try to bring a special show here, which I do on occasions, but you can't bring too many of those because then you're not going to do much business. So you try to bring shows that are going to appeal to the majority, especially on your subscription series.
Are there certain shows because of, let's say, nudity or partial lewdness that you wouldn't consider bringing to the Wilmington?
Well, we've always used the rule of thumb that anything that's a big Broadway smash hit, been accepted on Broadway, that we would certainly consider to bring it here.
Like Hair, for instance? Would
Hair, sure. But there are a few shows that we don't consider bringing here.
Because they're too bawdy, perhaps?
Yeah, they're just too far out.
What are your responsibilities to the public, if you could consolidate it concisely?
Well, you mean as to just what I have to do in the Playhouse? Well, I have to go get the shows, bring them here, house them, then go hire all the help necessary to put them on. Then make sure we have a smooth engagement while it's here, keeping in mind that they're only here for a week's run, and then we have to get them out of here and get them on to the next city.
Have the types of shows changed over the past 30 years that have been coming in? What was it like in the past? Give us a little capsulization.
Well, I remember about 30 years ago when I came, it was shows like South Pacific and Paint Your Wagon, those type of shows, My Fair Lady. And then you look and see what we have today. Chorus Line, we've got Annie, Evita. These type of shows are the ones that we have today.
We've got some pictures here that I'd like to show from past shows and upcoming shows. Perhaps you could tell the viewers what we're about to see. You can see that up on your monitor in a second. I think the first picture is Eli Wallach, if I'm
Eli Wallach
correct?
From Twice Around the Park.
When did that play?
That opened here in September. It's on Broadway now, and it's enjoying a successful run.
She's quite a star in her own right.
That's Ann Jackson, yes.
Ann Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Now, who's this other this other trio that we're looking at now. This is from the Amadeus. These are three of the stars from Amadeus.
We just had that show last week.
Mm-hmm.
Three stars from Amadeus. We had a successful run with that show.
Story of Mozart.
Yes.
Very unique story. Great stirring music.
Did very well with it.
Mm-hmm. And this fellow here is from Amadeus.
He played Mozart.
Mm-hmm. Now over here we have a show that's
Scene from Barnum that's coming up the end of this month.
I see. And how long will the run be on that show?
For 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
On Monday through Saturday.
Now, what shows are in the future other than Barnum? You'd mentioned.
Well, we have Barnum coming up, and then we have the Pirates of Penzance that'll be here in February, and then we have Evita coming, hopefully.
Evita.
Evita.
Mm-hmm.
That will be here for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. That's unusual when we bring a show for that long, because most of the shows can just run a week. But occasionally we can bring a show like Annie, Chorus Line, or Evita in for 2 weeks.
Are you going to bring Nutcracker in at Christmas time again? I think that's a tradition.
Yes, that's a traditional Christmas attraction that we bring in every year.
Now you have a sale of a mini subscription series coming up.
We do.
How does that
now,
work?
that's being sold at the present time, and there's 3 shows in that package: Evita, Pirates, and one other one to be selected.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very reasonable economic package, and we're selling that now.
Mm-hmm. Now, normally the season package would consist of how many shows?
6.
Mm-hmm.
We started selling that in the summertime, and that opens in September.
In September?
In September.
Mm-hmm.
The Twice Around the Park with Ann Jackson and Eli Wallach was the first one, and then we had Amadeus, and then Barnum. That'll be the first 3. Then the next 3 will be in the mini package.
Now, Peter Pan has made a return to Broadway. Do you think we might get Peter Pan here in Wilmington?
Well, there's a possibility. There's a possibility of a return engagement on Danson also in the spring. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That just had a nice run in the Orient, I understand, in Japan. Did very well. Did well there because there was no speaking in that, just all dancing.
Really? Are your shows sellouts? Most of them? Or how are ticket sales go?
The real big hits like Annie, Chorus Line, and hopefully on Evita, you can usually expect those to be complete sellouts. We did 75% of capacity on Amadeus last week. It's about where we've run 75 to 80% on most of our other shows.
What do you see as the positive changes during the years that you've been here?
Well, with the maintaining just a 1,250-seat house and the costs keep going up, I wonder just how much longer we can continue to bring some of these big shows here, like the big show Cats that just opened on Broadway. It's immense. Of course, when Sweeney Todd opened, they said, "You'll never get that, it's too big." But they cut it down and took it on the road. But I don't know just how many more years we're going to be able to really be able to come up with the money to bring these big shows here. Because how high can you raise the ticket prices?
That's right.
We already have a ticket price now of $35 for Barnum. Evita will be $35 top.
How does that compare with Broadway for their top
Well, I
seats?
paid $45 to see Cats, and I paid $50 to see 42nd Street.
Well, then it's still a bargain not to have to travel to New York
That's
and pay
right.
those prices.
That's right.
Have theater goers changed over the years? You know, the traditional theater goer 30 years ago as to now?
Oh, I don't know. I guess so. I would imagine they have. Although we do still have a lot of the old timers that are subscribers that joined 30 years ago when I first came to the Playhouse, and they're still attending. We have people, you know, that are subscribers that feel that their seat it really belongs to them, and they can pass it on to others when they get ready to retire, or to their children when they're no longer here.
I imagine. Bill, I want to thank you also for providing us with a gift certificate for 2 tickets to the upcoming musical Barnum, which will be the show we're giving away these 2 tickets for, are November 29, 1982, the evening show, and that was very kind of you.
You're welcome.
Why don't we give that away right now to the fifth?
We're free. We're not doing anything.
These guys here. He'd be a bad date. You can do much better than that, really.
Oh, I don't know.
We're not going to give them to either of these gentlemen here. We're going to give it away to one of you viewers out there. And all you have to do is be the fifth caller to call 652-4424, and you're going to win this gift certificate for 2 tickets. 652-4424, and you're going to win this gift certificate for 2 tickets to see Barnum. And I hear the phone ringing right now. Someone's going to be the fifth caller. I hope it's you, and you'll get a chance to enjoy it.